Today we're going to do part 1 of top 10 classroom management tips. These are things that you can do that'll really help your classroom run a lot more smoothly. We're going to go through 1 through 5 during this part, and then we'll continue later with 6 through 10. The number 1 classroom management tip that I have for you is to communicate expectations for learning and behavior for your kids. Early on in the year, you're going to want to let them know, here are a few classroom rules that we've got, and we're just going to really work on following these during the year. Don't make too many, especially if you've got younger kids. I know when I teach, some of the things that some rules that I've established are we don't run in the halls, we keep our hands to ourselves, and when someone is talking, then we need to be listening. And I also tell the kids, when you're talking, I promise to be listening to you. Just keeping a few of those rules at the forefront, especially at the beginning of the year, will remind kids of what your expectations are. Another positive thing to do with kids, number 2, is to establish and communicate classroom procedures so kids know what to expect next. This is particularly useful, again, at the beginning of your year when kids aren't exactly sure in what order things are going to be happening. So you can let them know, we're going to be meeting together in a small group here for about 10 minutes. Then we're going to go over to the worship center. We're going to be worshiping as a big group. You'll see a puppet, hear a Bible story, and that'll last for about a half an hour. And then we're going to come back to our room to visit for about 15 minutes and talk about what we learned. Now, as the year goes on, kids will be used to that routine, but especially at the beginning, it's really helpful for kids to know, what's coming up next during our schedule. The number 3 thing is for you to kind of establish in your own mind what sort of would you consider a classroom disruption, and what are the consequences for that. Are you uncomfortable with kids, fooling around together? And if so, what will you do in that situation? Maybe you would say to them, I really would appreciate it if you could keep your hands to yourself, but if you can't do that, then I'm going to need to separate you, something like that. And you really need to enforce whatever rules you've got consistently and promptly so kids know and understand what they can and can't do in your room. Another really great thing to do, and this is number 4, is to state in a positive way what behavior you would like to see, as opposed to stating in a negative way what you don't want to see. So for instance, you might say to Beth, hey, Beth, I'd really appreciate it if you could keep your hands to yourself, versus, Beth, stop poking Jimmy, that type of thing. So state positively what you would like to see versus what you don't want to see. And then number 5 for today is to build community within your classroom. Take time to get to know your kids, talk with them, ask them about their week, how school's been going for them. Remember to pray for them during the week. Again, that softens your heart towards your students. And you know what? One thing that's really great is to remember their birthdays. That's a great way to build community. Sing to the birthday child, maybe present them with a little gift like a birthday pencil and a card. When your kids really know that you care about them, it tends to really improve morale and how they behave in your room as well. So those are your top 5 tips for classroom management, and those are some ways that you can help raise your kids in Christ.